The explainer. You know how you get that big, messy pile of data? Well, today we're going to whip it into shape. We're talking about turning pure chaos into crystal clear insights using three absolute powerhouses in SQL: order by, group by, and having. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the raw data. Then we'll put things in order. After that, it's all about grouping to see the big picture, filtering out what we don't need, and then the grand finale, putting it all together. All right, let's get our hands dirty. Every good data story starts with the raw material itself. So let's take a look at what we've got. Okay, so picture this. This is your employee table. All the info's there: names, departments, salaries, the whole shebang. But it's just a jumble. If I asked you right now, who's our top earner, or which department is our biggest expense? Yeah, good luck with that. You'd be scrolling for days. So that's the big question, right? How do we take this data soup, and turn it into something that actually gives us answers? Well, the very first step is just to get things in order, literally. And our first tool for the job is the amazing order by command. It all starts with a command that's as simple as it is powerful. We're basically just telling the database, hey, show me everybody in the employee table, but you know what? Line them up by salary. And bam, look at that. All of a sudden it makes sense. You can see right away who's at the bottom of the pay scale and who's at the top. We've just introduced some logic, some structure to the chaos. And the best part is, you're in complete control. By default, it sorts from low to high. That's ascending, or ASC. But what if you want to see the big earners first? No problem. Just tack on DESC for descending. It really is that easy. But wait, it gets even cooler. You can actually stack your sorting criteria. So you could say, sort by gender first, and then sort by employee ID. It's kind of like organizing your music playlist, right? First by genre, then alphabetically by artist within that genre. Super useful. Okay, so sorting is awesome for lists. But honestly, sometimes you don't want a long list. You want the big picture, the summary. And that's a whole different ballgame. Think about it. What if you don't care about every individual salary? What if your boss walks over and says, give me the total salary cost for each department? Now you're not just sorting, you're summarizing. You need to know the total for IT, the total for HR, and so on. That's a totally different question. To do that, we need something called an aggregate function. Sounds fancy, but it's really not. Think of things like sum, count, or AVG for average. Their job is to take a whole pile of numbers and crunch them down into one single, meaningful result. And this, my friends, is where group by comes into play. It's a game changer. You're telling the database, okay, first create a bunch of buckets, one for each department. Then toss every employee into the right bucket. And finally, for each of those buckets, just add up all the salaries. Simple, right? And will you look at that? Suddenly, we're not even looking at a boring table anymore. We have a chart, and you can see it instantly. IT is where the big money is. That's a real insight that was completely buried in that messy table we started with. Okay, so now we have our groups, our summaries, but what if we don't care about all of them? What if we only want to focus on the heavy hitters, the most expensive departments? Well, now we need to get specific. We need to filter. Now, this is a super important point. You need to know the difference between where and having. Think of it this way. Where is for filtering your raw ingredients. It's like deciding you're only going to use the red M&Ms before you bake the cookies. Having, on the other hand, filters the finished product. It's like baking all the cookies and then only picking out the ones that have more than 5 chocolate chips. So using our new tool, the having clause, we can ask a much smarter question. We're telling the database, go ahead and do your thing, group everyone by department and sum up the salaries, but I only want to see the departments where that final sum is more than 100,000. And check it out. Poof. The HR department is gone because it didn't meet our criteria. What we're left with is a super focused list of only the big spending departments. We've just cut through all the noise to get to the signal. All right, we've learned the individual moves. Now it's time for the main event. Let's see how all these pieces, order by, group by, having, fit together into one mega powerful query. You have to think about it in a specific order, kind of like a recipe. First, you select your data. Then, you filter the individual rows with where. Then, you group them up. After that, you filter the groups with having. And finally, right at the very end, you order the final results. So here it is, the whole shebang in one command. What we're really asking is a multi-part question. Hey database, just look at the IT, HR, and accounts departments. Group them up, but only show me the groups whose total salary is over 100K. Oh, and when you're done, please list them from most expensive to least expensive. See, it's like a conversation. And this is what it's all about. A beautiful, clean, simple table that gives us a precise, powerful answer. Think about where we started, that chaotic mess of data. And now we have this, pure clarity. all thanks to a few lines of SQL. So we've walked through the whole process, from a jumbled mess to a clear, actionable insight. And the cool thing is, now you have the tools to do this exact same thing. Because here's the real takeaway. These commands, they're not just about code. They're about learning how to ask smarter questions. Every data set you have is just packed with hidden stories and secrets, and now you know how to unlock them. So the only real question